Good morning, everybody. It's Ben Baker. It's the YourLIVINGBrand.live show. It's October 18th. It is 10 o'clock in the morning. And welcome to another show. Welcome and thank you for joining us. For those people who haven't been to this show before, what our show is about is understanding that every single business has its own value. Every business is able to tell a story that's unique. Every business has a way of proving that they are different in the marketplace, that they, can communicate to a specific audience about the value and how they can solve a problem that community has. And that's what this show is about. It's not being a commodity. It's not being another Me Too. It's about being who you are and demonstrating the value that you have in the marketplace. Now, every week I have a different guest, and every week we find out what makes them special, what's their story. But let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Ben Baker. My company is Your Brand Marketing. What do? We consult, we teach, and we speak on brand, message, market, vision, and value. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, we work with our clients to figure out who they are, what they do, why they do it, and why people should care. It's about telling a story that matters. It's about telling the brand story in a way that not only that your clients get it, but your potential clients get it, and that the people that work for you get it as well. So everybody understands why you're valuable and why they should care about you. Now, this week's guest is a good friend of mine. Rich Patterson owns a company called Patterson Brands, and I'm going to let him tell his story. It was recorded earlier, and we'll bring him on live in a second. But Rich believes in telling client stories in a unique way, and you know what? I'm going to let him tell the story. So have a listen, and I'll be back to say goodbye once we're done. Hello, Rich. How you doing today?
Good, thanks, Ben. Good to be here with you.
Excellent. Yeah, we're running into a little bit of a chop on the video side, but we'll work through it. It's not a big deal. There he is. He's back up and running. There's his good looking face. Everybody, this is Rich Patterson. Rich has a company called Patterson Brands, and I'm going to get him to tell you all the story. Rich, let's start this off the fun way. Tell me the story of Patterson Brands. Tell me where you came from, who you are, where you're going, and, why do your customers love you so much?
Well, I'll start with the brief history of how we came to be. I was working in Toronto in the mid-90s, working for Roots. And I was doing marketing roles with them, some senior marketing roles. And at the time, the brand was so incredibly hot that we were just run off our feet. And I had this really good friend named Ken working with me. And he was selling corporate promotional products, all Roots product. So he had Coca-Cola calling him, and they were ordering like $400,000 worth of sweatshirts, said Roots on one side, Coca-Cola on the other. And one day I went out for lunch with Ken, and this was so funny. Here I was working 12 to 16-hour days for a very, it was an okay salary doing marketing. And Ken said, "Oh, I just had an awesome year selling promotional products for Roots." And I said, "Oh yeah, how awesome was it?" He said, "Well, I sold $4 million worth of product." And in the back of my mind, I said to myself, okay, it didn't take long for me to calculate the kind of salary he was, commissions he was earning on that. And I said, I am in the wrong business. And that's how it started. I pivoted from working in the marketing department for Roots, and I started selling corporate products on behalf of Roots. And I did that for about 6 years, and it was really, really great. Sold a lot of product in Eastern Canada and Western Canada. Eventually, I moved out here into Vancouver with my wife. And after about 6 years, I had a great client book and amazing projects, interesting stuff. But clients kept saying to me, "Rich, if you only sold more than just Root stuff, we'd buy from you. We'd buy jackets, and we'd buy pens, and we'd buy journal books. But all you have is the Roots offering, which was at the time fairly limited." So that's what led to me to establish Patterson Brands. Eventually, after hearing this question so many times, I said to myself, this seems like a natural fit. And so in 1999, I went, or actually it was probably by about 2002, I went away from Roots completely and was on my own.
Right. And you know what? for people unfamiliar with the promotional marketing, you know, there is an 18 to $20 billion market for promotional marketing. And the truth of the matter is, you know, there's some people that do very well at it. There's a lot of people that do well at it. And there's the average people that do, you know, they do okay. You know, they do okay with it. But a lot of it has to do with how you treat your customers and how you understand your customers in your market. So tell me a little bit about the type of market you serve today. Like, you know, where is Patterson Brands gone? Where, you know, who are the type of people that you go, you know, that you call on, you know, and why do they find you different and valuable?
I think at this stage in our business, so there's 4 of us. It's a fairly small, nimble company. 3 of us selling or account managers and 1 production manager, admin person. And the 3 of us on the account management side, we seem to have all cultivated a very similar style of customer. And I would say they're white collar, primarily marketing, advertising companies, entertainment companies, software, gaming, movies, television. And I think what unites all these clients is that they all need a lot of help with their brand. They need brand development, they need artwork development and guidance. They're not the type of client that's just going to log into a website and click on a pen and say, I want a 1-color logo on the barrel of the pen and press order 1,000 units. It's not that type of client. I think one of my clients summed it up best. I was asking them why they do business with us and what they like about us and why they wouldn't just go on an internet site. This client just said, Rich, we care too much about our brand to order off a website. And I think that's what's common about our clients is they're the style of companies or brands or organizations, Hollywood. They care about their brand so much and they need help. And that's I think what they find with us.
And that's key. It's that personal touch. It's understanding not just the product that you're selling, but the companies you're selling it to and what they're trying to achieve. You know, that's the key. That's what I find is the key to great companies doing great things. It's not just selling a widget because, you know, you can go online and you can buy clothing. We both know that, but it's about being able to tell the story of that particular brand and the value of who they are. And, you know, tell me about the process you go through with your clients, you know, to be able to, you know, to get them to understand the value that you bring to the table.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we do is we try to rein in clients often because, and this is just the human condition and the times we live in, everything has to be done so quickly. I always get questions like, what's the hottest product right now? Fidget spinners. Should we be ordering fidget spinners?
Millions of them.
And I say, well, before we talk about the hottest product, which there's a lot of cool products out there, instead of that, let's talk about 3 main questions. What is your main audience that you want to reach? What do you want to leave? The second question, what do you want to leave that audience with after they've interacted or engaged with you? Do you want them to feel like they've engaged with a really cutting edge brand, or do you want them to feel nostalgic, that they've engaged with something about nostalgia, good feelings? Family-oriented brand. Do you want to be family values? Like, what is it exactly you want them to be left with? And then third question is there some action you want them to take, some call to action, something that you want them to do? Apply for a job with you or register for a webinar. What is it? And I always say to clients, like, if we talk about those sort of 3 basic questions first, then we'll have a better groundwork. Then we can start to think about what product might be. Right? It might not even be a product. It might be a service or a gift certificate or some value with a downloadable, some sort of downloadable widget or something like that. It might not be a product.
Right.
So that's what we do.
So you use the term engagement. And for me, engagement is huge because the more we can get people to speak to us and we can speak to them in their language, the closer the bond we build with our clients. And with you, it's not only your clients, but your clients' clients. You know, and it's being able to create something that is going to be meaningful to the person that's receiving it, because what you're giving people is not just another promotional product. It's a gift. And it's something that reminds them of the value of the brand that you're helping out. So Go through that process with me. Go through the process that when you're working with somebody and you're trying to get them away from the, the new, the hip, the exciting, how do you communicate with them the value that they bring to the table to their customer?
Well, I think, as I said, we start with those 3 questions. We really want to use that as a groundwork so we can devise an approach. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be a product. And then we look at two key next steps, which is high design. And that's what I said about our clients are not going to buy something off the internet because their brand is so important to them. And then we want to help them with that. We want to help with sort of an elevated design, better decorating techniques, better color coordination, retail looks and color coordination. I think that's really important to us. We don't want to just grab black garments and put a left chest logo on it. If we can find something that's a melange color or something that you see at retail right now, like mustard or a really nice pink, we want to do that for sure and recommend that to clients. And we constantly have clients telling us that's not in our corporate color palette. And
right.
say, so what? So what? If you walked in a Nike store lately, their corporate color palette is as wide as you can imagine.
Right.
And as varied as you can imagine. And I think that it really is in the best interest of the brands we work with to push the boundaries, to try to emulate those things. And then the third key that we want to do after we've done elevated design work and sort of connected with elevated design is packaging. Is there something sort of next step that we can do in packaging that they haven't considered before? Because as you know, Ben, in our industry, the packaging level is pretty, I'd say, substandard. Like it's
basic. It's extremely basic.
It's very basic. And understand there's a lot of drivers for that. Why things are packaged basic, keep shipping costs down, keep product tightly packed, lightweight packed, et cetera, et cetera. But we look at for what can we do that's sort of elevated in the packaging realm. And we push that on clients. And again, some clients just love it and they eat it right up, and other clients are very budget conscious and it's like, no. So,
well, the packaging takes it to the next level. I mean, when you get something and it's just handed to you in a paper bag, you're going to feel about it one way. If it's in a gift wrap box with a logo on it, and it's there's the anticipation of opening the box to see what's inside the box, that's a different level altogether. So it's a matter of managing customers to understand. And you said this, so it says about expectations. It's more about not about the color of the brand, but does it meet the brand in how you want your customers to feel about you? You're not going to give somebody a ratty T-shirt if you're a hip, happening, tech savvy company that that's trying to sell people on $500,000 or $1 million solutions. You're not going to give them a ratty T-shirt. You're going to give them something that's cool and hip and exciting and different and unique and something that they're going to actually wear instead of a $5 T-shirt. So it's being a brand ambassador that way.
Oh, 100%. And in some cases, a T-shirt might be the right approach for that software company you're talking about, but it has to be elevated. It has to be like a really awesome retail quality brand. Maybe the T-shirt's got like a perceived value of $40 or $50. We can do that. And you should box it up and package it and ribbon it and tissue it in a way that people will be like, oh, I'm getting some, like when I'm unboxing it, the process actually takes a bit of effort to undo the top, undo the bow, and then, wow, look at this T-shirt. The printing is awesome. The quality of it, the hand, the feel of it, the hand, we call it, that's amazing. So I think there is ways to do it.
Well, and what you said. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead first, and then I'll.
No, what you were saying, you came up with words as perceived value. The perceived value is huge, because when you're working with your clients, you want the people who they're giving gifts out to see them in the best light. So do you go through a process of understanding these people's brand? Like, what's the process you go through to understand your client's brands when you first meet somebody?
Well, I think it starts, I think this is true of any good marketer and salesperson, is it starts beforehand. You try to do a bit of research, of course. Right. So I've been trying to stalk the people online, seeing what the outside brand looks like, meaning, of course, the things that face outside, but even some of the inside stuff, like what does it look like on LinkedIn? what are the key people talking about on Instagram, and what kind of pictures are they sharing, and that'll give us an idea. And of course, I don't want to keep harping about these 3 questions, but when we ask our 3 questions about what they're trying to achieve and what kind of brand feeling they want, that'll inform a lot of our decisions.
Huge.
Yeah, it helps tons. And I think one thing we try to do, and this is very true in our whole industry, is people try to walk the walk, of course. So when we do our own promotional items inside of Patterson Brands, we're trying to give out stuff that will set a tone right away so that our clients get it. Not only do we want to give them a gift, we do want to give people gifts because that's the business we're in, but we want to set a tone right away so when they see our stuff, they go, oh, this is different. This is elevated. And there's, I think, one metric that we can tell why this is working is because the stuff we give out, it keeps getting ordered. Oh, geez, sorry, hang on. Sorry,
no problem.
You even said to turn off your phone. I turned off my mobile phone, but not the desk one.
Well, it just means you're busy. That's all right. It all means that your clients love you and they want to get a hold of you. So you know what? We'll forgive you that.
Yeah. But I was just going to say, one of the ways we like to measure whether our gifts that we're creating are hitting a nerve with people is, yes, they keep getting ordered. So people, I'll show you one example here. This is one thing we send to a lot of clients. It's a small pencil case, and it seems so old-fashioned. A few people have said to me, pencil case? It's 2017. But oh my gosh, this thing is so relevant right now. People use it to carry small earphones and tech gadgets in. And inside we have a small notebook made by a Portland, Oregon company called Scout Books. This is a beautiful, beautiful book. And a pen. And it's a nice pen that fits. And this all fits our brand. But my point about all this was that we know this thing is resonating because clients get it and then they say, yep, I'll take 500 of this. So, and that's not really why we sent it to them. Again, I say we sent it to them to try to show off a bit about what we could do and set a tone, but it's working because people see it and they go, yes, I can envision my brand now on this item and it would really work.
Right. And that's the thing you just said. It says something that's relevant and something of value, because if it's not used, if it's not engaged with, if it's not interacted with, what's the point? If somebody just takes that gift and throws it in a drawer and never uses it again, you know what? The purpose of giving it is been lost. But if all of a sudden somebody takes that little case, that simple little case, and all of a sudden it becomes where they put their earbuds, it comes where they put their power stick, it comes where they put whatever they use for their traveling, and it goes into their travel bag, and wherever they are, whenever they are, they've got it. You know what? That brand sticks with them, and the thought behind it sticks with them. And it's a matter of having something that people sit there and go, hey, that was great. It's something that's useful. Something as silly as a notepad. You know what? People still like to write down and jot down things. Look at some of the top people, billionaires in the world. They all use notepads to write down ideas on a daily basis. And if you can give somebody an idea generator, and that's what we call our notebooks that we give everybody, we have it right and branded on it that they're idea generators. Yeah, and it gives people a thought process as, hey, this is a useful item. It's not just something to throw in a drawer and forget. It's something I'm going to use, and when I use it, I'm going to remember the brand of who gave it to me.
Yeah, and I really like what you said, Ben, and I think you hit the nail on the head about why we were circling back now, but why this is a $25 billion annual industry is because of the tangible, that it's something tangible. I mean, we all know that the flavor of the moment is digital marketing and social marketing, and they are very important because we both do it and we'll continue to do it. Things like HubSpot and lead generation and funnels and, of course, social media, Instagram, all very important. But there is something that our industry and the things we work on do that those things probably will never do.
Right.
Is that they make the tangible intangible. They make something physical connection happen. And I think that's so important still in this day and age.
Yeah. So let's talk about something. Let's talk about custom, which is a lot of what you do. I mean, it's not just going to a vendor and say, slap my logo on this. A lot of times what you do is I've got an idea, or a customer has an idea, or you guys have an idea together and you go, let's make this. And, how do you manage your customers' expectations? As you said at the very beginning, that everybody's in a 911 need it tomorrow type idea, that custom takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are constantly in that push-pull with clients, telling them that, and when we're doing sort of our debriefs after a project's happening, often saying to clients, you know, this, we could have done this and this, we just didn't have enough time, which they know and people understand. We just did a really big project with the BC Lions for a game day promotion on Friday, September 22nd. So it just happened.
Right.
And they wanted to do there was VR goggles, and they wanted to do something very custom and very cool, but we had like 10 days to deliver. So we got something done. But what we got done was quite basic, and we had to rely, of course, you'll understand this being in the industry, we had to rely on a warehouse that was North America based because they did have stock. So it all worked out. But in the debrief, I said to them, you know, for next, if we can have like 10, 12, 14 weeks lead time, we can get everything that was on your original wish list. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
The custom locations, the custom colors, the multicolored printing, not a problem. We can go offshore and do that. And that's one of the greatest resources that we all have right now is access to these offshore factories that have amazing quality, very professional service, and great people to deal with. But you just need the lead times. You just do. It's a fact of life.
Yeah. But it's not something that a lot of end users can do themselves. A lot of people think, oh, I can call up China and I can get a project done myself. And it's not that simple. You know, a lot of it has to do with relationship. A lot of it has to do with knowing where the good factories are and who the bad factories are. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's a lot of different factors that most companies don't even take into consideration that can really damage their brand if they try to do something themselves. And, you know, yeah. I don't know about you, but when I go offshore, it's managing those expectations for customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a couple of things have struck me in the last few months. I was listening to CBC Radio the other day, and they were speaking about Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, who's on a North American tour, encouraging North American businesses to list more products and services on Alibaba. And I think that this mass listing is actually a challenge, and it takes people down what I always call the rabbit hole. I think there's a rabbit hole out there that customers and users fall into where they start to do investigation online, and they find an option on Amazon or they find an option on Alibaba. And it really takes them down a rabbit hole. They invest time, they might even invest money in trying to get to an end solution, a product, and then it turns into nothing. And I've got those calls repeatedly. I'm sure you have too, where Absolutely. They found out the answer is nothing.
Right.
They found out the answer. And unfortunately, they might have wasted 10 days, 14 days, 3 weeks in communication, and they find out it's just a listing. Somebody's just listed a product. They just grabbed an image off of Google probably, and they came up with a price, and they listed on it, but they have no business being in business. And that's right. The difference, I think.
And they're not producing it themselves. They're putting an idea up online, hoping somebody calls them up, and then they'll go figure out how to get it built.
Yeah.
So you're not dealing with the factory. You may not even be dealing with the people who know where the factory is.
That's right. It's no better than Kickstarter. They've listed a Kickstarter project and hope that somebody will invest in them by placing an order. But
that's right. You know, and there's lots of stories like that. So dealing with somebody who goes offshore on a regular basis, that has the relationships, you know, that have people that actually go and visit the factories and do audits is huge to protect your online brand and protect your brand in total, because you know there's not child labor. You know that it's being produced properly. It's going to be done on time and right, that pre-production samples are coming in, that, you know, that money is being transferred properly across channels, etc. And there's so many different details that most people don't even consider. And that's, you know, that's when you deal with somebody who deals with custom all the time, they know what questions to ask.
No, it's very true. I was just fortunate to be in China this summer for 2.5 weeks. It was primarily a family trip, but I did meet a couple of factory representatives there, and I was very pleased to do. And like I said, there's so many professionals in China and in the Indian subcontinent. Professionals, they understand their business, they understand decorating, apparel, and they're just so happy to you know, do business. So I took my family to the Shanghai Disney Resort for a couple of nights. And one of my best factory reps, Eric, he came out from the city and came out to the Disney resort and sat with us for about an hour, and we looked at some products. He brought some samples, and we just sort of debriefed on some projects we've done in the last year and a half together, and it was really great. I wouldn't say put a face to the name because of this type of Skyping and everything. We'd already put the names, but it was our first chance to sit and break bread, which was was awesome.
Well, it takes that relationship even deeper. So now they know, exactly who you are. You've met them, and if you meet their family, it even takes it to a stronger relationship. I've got factories that we've dealt with for 15 years, and we deal with them over and over and over again. Why? Because we trust them, and we know that when there's problems, they'll let us know. And when there's problems, they'll fix them. And that's huge. And finding those people and finding those relationships is a big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
So, the value that you bring, to the table and what makes you different is your years of experience. The fact that you came from retail, the fact that you spent time in the retail market and you understand clothing, from a manufacturer's point of view. You didn't just come into this and say, well, I'm just going to sell clothes today and go find somebody that you can go buy clothing off the rack from. You actually worked for a manufacturer and you actually understand the process, and you were able to build a business up from there. And that's huge. But, as well, there's also a lot of ongoing training you guys go through. Talk to me about the different conferences that you go to and the different things that you get part of.
Well, I appreciate everything you've said. That's very kind. So thank you, Ben. But I can't just say it's about me. We are Jane and Beth are account managers here.
Oh, yeah.
And Amanda, who's our production manager. And they're all professionals. And what's really interesting, what I've loved about working with 5 and 2 years respectively, is that they were both excellent clients of mine before they came to work for me. And it's been a fantastic relationship. And again, they brought, they didn't have quite the same kind of retail background I did, which was fine, but they had an awesome event management and event marketing background.
Right.
So that's really what we pride ourselves on, is all being professionals with a background in branding and marketing. And yes, you're right. We do attend a lot of conferences every year. We go to Las Vegas once a year, Chicago usually also. These are massive trade shows. I think the Las Vegas one might be over 1 million square feet.
Something like that.
It's huge. New products and decoration techniques. And then we also belong to a couple of sort of what I call like professional, not networking is not the right name, but I guess they're professional improvement groups.
Right.
Common Ski is a good example of one. So those type of groups are programming all sorts of learning activities and education that business owners like you and I can attend. And these are all business owners that want to take their businesses to the next level. They want to push the boundaries of customer experience and customer engagement and just do things better. Just
right.
That's a simple way of saying it, do things better. So we're usually, like, I'm about to go to a conference on Sunday in Palm Springs. And I don't quite know what to expect, but that's going to be all owners. I think 50 or 75 owners of companies similar to ours. And we're all going to be talking about what can we do in 2018, 2019 that's going to, take us to the next level.
Well, it's sharing best practices.
Yeah.
And that's what the world is about today. Is if you don't know the answer, you have a group of people that you can go out and ask and not feel threatened for going out and asking them. And that's what these networks are all about. And that's why having friends in the network, across North America that have different experiences, you can pick up a phone and just sit there and say, help, I haven't seen this before. Has anybody else? You know what? 99 times out of 100, there's somebody that's been through that before. And that's valuable. And it's valuable not only to you, but also to your clients.
Yeah. I feel really fortunate to be in a mentor-mentee relationship with another business owner like me who's in Southern California. And it's great. We get on the phone usually once a month and we compare notes. And he's got some challenges with growing his business and transitioning from mostly print-based business, which we know there's a lot of challenges in print these days. And that's all set up through our industry. Our industry has a lot of mentor programs, and this is one from Promo Kitchen, which I think you're familiar with. So Promo Kitchen has a mentor.
Mark Graham was just on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, great. Yeah. So exactly. He's been key in that. So it's really been great. I'm looking forward to the next few years. I don't, I don't quite know what to think's going to happen with our industry. Is it going to change dramatically? Is there going to be more consolidation? Is the internet going to impact it more? I don't really know what to think, but I'm excited to see.
Yeah. So listen, one last question, then I'm going to let you go because we're getting to the end of the show. And I ask this to everybody. When you leave somebody's office, when you close the door behind you, you get in your car and you drive away, what's the number one thing you want your clients to remember about you?
Impact. There's a guy with impact. That's what I want you to say.
And that's a great way of looking at it, is somebody who's going to help them achieve their goals. And impact is in a one word, it says it all.
Yeah.
Well, Rich, thank you for being part of the show. Just hang out in the green room a little bit. I'll be right back. And I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you. And good luck, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks. So I hope you found the show educational, and I hope you found that, Rich was able to give you some ideas and some things that you might be able to think about, and some ways that you might be able to change your business for the better. It's all about taking those little nuggets and those little things, and the more you listen to other people, the more chances you have of finding out what are the little things that can make me better. Now, next week, I've got Annalie Cornelson on our show. Annalie has got an incredible business in the fact that what she does is she is a visual communicator. She is the one, when I'm up there speaking or other people are up there speaking, she is the one actually creating the communication and the story behind you in a graphic format. And it's an incredible thing that she does. And I've watched her do it a number of times, and I'd love to be able to work with her more. It's amazing the work that she does. So tune in next week, and we'd love to have you see her. Now, once again, my name is Ben Baker. My company is Your Brand Marketing. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, we work with people to consult, to teach, and to speak on brand, message, market, vision, and value. Give us a call. We'd love to work with you. Have a great day, everyone.